In round 11, a last-minute winner, a first-half demolition, and Bath Rugby's search for a first win in what feels like a very, very long time goes on. All this and lots more in this week's episode of Gallagher Premiership Rugby's The Lowdown. As you might notice, I'm not in my mate's bar in Bath anymore. Business is booming there, so you needed the space, right? It's got to make those papers. I'm in a different bar. I'm in a place called the Boater in Bath. It's about 53 metres from the recreation ground, just over there. This is actually where we used to have our end of season socials in the Boater. They've poshed it right up since then. We're in like the upstairs private dining room. There weren't one of those when I was playing. Frankly, I wasn't sure if I'd be welcome back in here, but I am. So life's good. Christmas has happened, you know that, and the teams are back, the players are back, and it looks like, as ever, it looks like some of the lads went a bit hard on Christmas Day, but some of them kept it lean, kept it dry, kept it professional. But these are festive creatures, just like you and I, and they had a bit of fun, and social media, as it so often does, proves that to us. Tom Curry had some lovely t-shirts made up, or they were given by Father Christmas. So he's got a picture of his beloved dog on his t-shirt, and his beloved dog has got a picture of him on his t-shirt. You shouldn't dress dogs up, it's a matter of opinion, but they've got coats on, they're born with coats, unless they're hairless, Chinese crested. And I don't want my dog on my t-shirt because he's hanging, really, really ugly bloke. Nice bloke, but an ugly bloke. Anyway, you do what you like, looks fun. Martin Castro Giovanni arrives on Santa's sleigh. This is absolutely not a plug for a certain car brand. Other car brands are available, but not all of them sponsor Martin Castro Giovanni. But that vehicle looks about right for Castro, big and loud and heavy. We like that. And Vincent Koch, for his little one's first fancy dress party, dressed up as the Incredibles. That actually is a fantastic effort. I really, really like that. Very, very clever indeed, good effort. Right, it's time to get down to business. And the first place we're going is about 12, 13 miles from where I'm sitting, over to Ashton Gate in Bristol, where they took on the Leicester Tigers, who could not lose. Now, it's interesting that Harry Randall should pounce on this ball and be the one to make the break, survive the big right arm from Nemani Nadolo. Not many survive that, especially not when you're as small as Harry Randall. But this finish from Fitzharding coming up, it looks decent. It looks like he's got quite a strong lower back. It's actually brilliant. Hit hard by two big blokes. Outstanding technique, loads of power. Actually a brilliant try. And Harry Randall, instrumental. He was the best player on that field for me at the weekend. Nemani Nadolo kind of does it all. I think he does it all, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he doesn't scrummage. He can't scrummage. He probably could. If you stuck him in, he probably could. The scrums are fascinating all day. Tigers pinged here for not hooking, but they marmalised Bristol in that scrum. There's a bit of afters then, but nobody was watching because Semi Randrandra had the ball. Just makes really, really difficult stuff look really easy. First start in ages, absolute class. Bristol looked a different team. Whether it's because Randrandra was there or not, I'm not sure, but they looked a different team. Ahead, Charles Piatow does something magic until you realise a second or two later that he's knocked the ball on. He's got to go and rescue it himself. Referee spots it with a bit of help from his mate, and Leicester have one last chance to win a game in which Bristol were fantastic, gave them a hell of a game. Now for me, the key to the final try and even the phases preceding this one was the influence of George Ford. Every time he got the ball, he was doing something to hold defenders, doing something to put players into space. He was wonderful. He was the second best player on the field behind Harry Randall, I thought. Nick Dolly, this is a brilliant pass too. Excellent finish from Guy Porter, amazing from Leicester Tigers. They just do not know how to lose at the moment. Absolutely super match, super match. Fantastic game of rugby that. George Ford, wonderful. Harry Randall, even more wonderfuler. And you think Six Nations, how likely is it to be Harry Randall at 9 and George Ford at 10? You could argue that should be the 9-10. I know Ben Youngs is in really good form, but Randall was electric. I know Marcus Smith is a genius and the prodigal son and all that, which he is. But how good is George Ford? They won't start at 9 and 10 for England, obviously, but my point is, not that they will be, but they could. Right, on the socials, Martin Crowson, renowned journalist, said, play average, nearly always behind, make lots of mistakes, scrums are fast, down to 14 men, still win, Leicester Tigers. Yeah, that's about right. I'm not sure how they won it. I am sure how they won it. Ultimate confidence, and that starts at the top with old Borthers, if you ask me. Martin. Tom Finn Kelsey said, now I've calmed down, I feel like we should say a word about Bristol Bears. We all know what happened last season. Yeah, dodgy, very dodgy indeed. But putting that aside, they gave us one hell of a game today. We watch rugby for games like this, so hats off to Bears for a quality match. Yeah, wouldn't disagree with that. Fantastic game. Right, up to the Stonex where Saracens welcomed Worcester. And let's be honest, it was going to be an absolutely freak result if Worcester beat Saracens. And look how easily Alex Good goes through the defence there. There's really very little resistance put up, whether it was a fumble, whether it's a double pump over the top. As mentioned in commentary, don't know. You decide. But it was made to look very, very easy. And there's another lovely bit of skill coming up from Alex Good after this phase. Vunipola holds the ball up, gets it away, and it's just nice and easy. But you think Tompkins is a bit slow to get that down, but he's never in any real danger. Just all looking very classy from Saracens, but very easy. Duhan van der Merwe, this is a lovely bit of movement, lovely offload. Big beef, Ethan Waller couldn't hold it. And you think, well, partly because Saracens are excellent, partly because Worcester are slightly all over the place at times, like here. It's not going to be Worcester's day, and you wouldn't be wrong. It's the easiest try Ben Earl will ever score. He'll nick a few off the back of a few mauls, driving mauls, because he's a back rower. But they won't come a lot easier than that. However, Worcester did do some good stuff. This ball back inside from Simpson to Venter is top class. Great to watch. Nicely finished, beautiful ball back inside. And if Ben Earl does this for Saracens, we're all going mad. If Toulouse do that, we're going mad. Ted Hill, that is wonderful. Massive bloke, really abrasive, really quick. I honestly think he is a top of the range player. You could stick him in the England team and he wouldn't look even a little bit out of place. And this is precision stuff. I know the scoreline is what it is and the game's gone, but that is precision stuff. Brilliant try from Worcester. They do have some good tries in the bank. It's just they concede points so easily that they often become academic. And again, strong finish. That's a really poor attempt at a tackle, if you can call it that, not even a speed bump. The game was gone, but at least they had a crack at the end. Yeah, Saracens very, very dominant, especially in that first half. JT on Twitter said, we were well beaten, not John Thomas, by the way, not John Thomas, different JT. We were well beaten and outplayed by half time, but the boys showed grit and took a bonus point plus an extra try. And from what I heard on commentary, Gareth Simpson was our saviour. Tough day, move on. Yeah, I wouldn't go far away from that, JT. Steve King, Spurs 1, football fan. We shouldn't hold that against him. I'm a football fan too, but they do like to tuck in on the old comments sometimes, the football fans, in my experience. Steve reckons, great result, but unbelievably, Saracens fan obviously, lost that second half 22-21. The drop-off was there yet again. Those subs decreased the levels again. Very annoying to watch. Steve is angry. Steve, don't get angry. It's Christmas. Calm down. It's just a game. You won by loads, fella. You're okay. 5 points, well done. But sorry, it's an 80-minute game. McCall will be very unimpressed with that end product. I don't necessarily know if I agree with all of that. When the subs came on, they didn't take it up a notch. Equally, Worcester do have some really good players who in the final 20, 30 minutes, frankly, had nothing to lose because they're already getting battered. So, I don't know, I'd be a bit less hard on that. We're going to go to the Bath game, the Bath-Gloucester game at the Rec in a minute. But first of all, remember we had that challenge. You've got to name, we've got to give Premiership players, they've got to name as many of their teammates as they can in 30 seconds. Easier said than done. Jack Knoll started us off, got 21. Alex Good controversially got 27. Don't know about that. Very dodgy indeed. Next up is Lewis Ludlam.
Paul Hill, Alex Waller, James Fish, Sam Matavesi, Samson Maisai, Dave Ribbons, Alex Moon, Api Ratinuara, Teamana, Jano, Carl Wilkins, Alex Mitchell, Connor Tupai, Tom James, James Grayson, Dan Bigger, Courtney Laws, Tom Wood, Fraser Dingwall, Piers Francis, Matty Proctor, Ollie Slightholm. Yeah, I did, mate. Easy.
Lewis, 22, well done, just ahead of Jack Knoll. It turns out Jack Knoll, I thought he did quite well when I saw his first video, his first effort. Turns out quite easily beaten in this game. You're in second place, but first place has got a bit of an asterisk next to it. We all know that. Right, off to the Rec, which is just there for a game that was a couple of days ago, Bath, Gloucester. Now this is really interesting, well to me anyway. Bath did this again in the second half once or twice. I want you to think about the back line they've got. De Glanville, Ajomo, Joseph, McConaughey, Spencer, Rockenden-Gooney, Bailey. They've got runners everywhere. Think about the momentum. Brilliant carry from Underhill. Excellent backup carry into traffic engaging those blindside defenders from Tom Ellis, really good. And Bath stop. They stop and they set up a long ruck. They take all the speed, all the momentum out of their attack and give all control back to Gloucester. Gloucester reorganise. They regain possession. They get their breath back. They got time to communicate. Found that really, really strange, and they kept doing it, and I don't quite know why. It's obviously like they've got a plan and they're going to stick to it regardless, but hey, it ain't working. Gloucester fantastic on the counter-attack, but there's just no one there. There are hardly any defenders there, and it's easy for fans to say Bath aren't trying. Check the heart rate monitors. Bet you a tenner they're trying their lungs out. They're just not organised. They're not in the right places. This is an odd one for me. People often think defending mauls is about effort. It's not. It's a lot to do with effort and frenzied intent. It's also a lot to do with technique, coached and practiced techniques, splitting lifters, splitting jumpers away from the people that are supporting them, trying to target the ball, targeting the right people. Bath absolutely nowhere near, and as Lawrence Dallaglio said, embarrassingly easy. Gloucester just making it look very, very easy to score against Bath, and it feels like, well, they're going to get a win at some point, but from where, I don't know. Yeah, just bizarre some of that. Gloucester, I think, are going great. They look fantastic, look like they're really enjoying themselves and playing really well. But Bath, when they kept getting that momentum, putting a few really good phases together and then just stopping, everybody stopping, and all the speed and momentum and pressure going out of the game, gifting it back to Gloucester, it just felt weird. It felt a bit like when Gary Gold was director of rugby at Bath for a bit, and in many ways an excellent director of rugby, but it was almost like we are going to play the box kicking percentage game that has won other teams' trophies. But all the players Bath have got, all the backline at least, are there to run and carve people open. So the very last thing you want to do is give away momentum, get them the ball. When they stopped that first ruck I showed you then, is Spencer, what you really want is him flinging that out to a Jomo and Bailey and Joseph and them doing something with it. But there's a plan and they have to stick to it. But the plan isn't working. Anyway, found it interesting. This is a Gloucester fan, Dr. Di Samuel. He says, superb result again on Twitter. Feels like something really special developing within the group, and I think we can push all the way this year. Enjoy the beers, lads. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It feels great if you're a Gloucester fan. Mark, Bath rugby fan. Once again, we see an embarrassed side at the end of a game. We see one or two players walk to the field and take whatever the crowd has to say, but Gloucester has the decency as a team to applaud the crowd. There's no I-in team, but there definitely is at Bath. Do you know what? When I played at Bath, I remember winning a game and applauding the crowd, and they all loved it and all that. And I remember mates of mine who supported the other team, by the way, it was Gloucester, going on their fans forum, and there were lots of people saying that we were gloating and doing a lap of honour, and we're just actually thanking our fans. And a few weeks later, we lost a couple of games on the bounce, and we had groups of our fans hammering us for not having walked across the field to thank them. It's a really odd one. Everyone's different. If I go to a game of rugby, admittedly in a slightly different capacity from most of you, I don't need the team I've gone to watch to walk to the other side of the pitch and thank me. I just don't need them to. I go there to watch a game, have a pint and go home. Anyway, everyone's different. Right, up to Cov, Wasps against London Irish. It always felt like Wasps against London Irish was going to be one of those games where a lot of points get scored. And it was, which is good news. This is a really nice bit of interplay down the left from Wasps. Ali Crossdale has been fantastic since he joined Wasps, especially. This is a great tackle. This is one of the best tackles of the month, but it doesn't count because the ground was so greasy that he scored anyway. So I'm afraid that will never count, but we noticed it, just to let you know we see you, okay? Wasps played some lovely stuff. They also got a bit lucky here or there, so not quite sure what happened. A couple of ricochets, little 1-2, but Dan Frost gets lucky and unlucky. Lucky with the try, not lucky, finishes it well, but ends up on a school playground. Looks like concrete, that. Never mind your plastic pitches. That'll take the skin off you. He'll be sticking to his bed sheets the morning after that, be horrible. But Wasps were always willing to have a go, always willing to have a fly, and sometimes one of the things we love about Wasps is that it is high risk, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. Ollie Hassel-Collins is very difficult to bring down, but he shouldn't be that difficult to bring down. He's got four or five Wasps defenders around him. He shouldn't be scoring that, but what really helps him is that he's massive and really, really strong. This is one of those moments that always causes controversy, but I think the key thing is that Umanga does wallop Hassel-Collins. There is a bit of a dip from Hassel-Collins for sure, but he does wallop him right in the jaw. He also, if you watch Umanga's shoulder, he's actually on the way up. He's hitting up. His initial starting position, he would have got away with that, but he's actually hitting up. So he was always going to struggle. And anyway, there was sort of 5 minutes left, but we'll wait to hear about suspensions and bans and that sort of thing. We don't know, but you are always going to get a red for that now. To be honest, you could have got a red for that 10 years ago. Good win for Wasps. So on social media, Rugby London Irish said, not good. We go again next week. Of course you do. That's what happens in sport. Bigger things in life than ruggers. Enjoy the rest of Boxing Day. All of the Exile Nation. That's one of those things, isn't it? When you win, then it dominates everything, and you're allowed to say that rugby's everything, rugby's life. When you lose, it's like it's not even that big a deal. We all know it is. We all know it really is. Jimmy Gopper said, unreal atmosphere today. It was great atmosphere up in Coventry. Thanks to all our supporters, and thanks Wasp Rugby for putting on the show post-game. It looked like a fantastic show. I've actually been there for one of those big fireworks displays after they'd lost, and it was properly orcs. Really, really orcs. But this time they won, so it wasn't awkward. No complaints about the red card either. Don't suppose any of you have. If you have, let us know. Right, to Twickenham for big game number something. There's been loads of big games now, but it's Quins against Saints. Tidy start from Northampton Saints. Quins not quite committing enough numbers to that and enough venom to that. Ball defence. Nice enough from Northampton Saints. Lovely start. Always felt, even though it was raining, a bit gloomy, always felt there's a few points. Watch Lawday here. This accidental line sucks in a couple of defenders, just creates a hole. I think it was an accident. I think he wanted the ball, but he didn't get it because it wasn't ready, but it actually worked out quite nicely, as did this absolute shinning from Furbank. He will claim it's deliberate. That's about 350 miles of being deliberate, that. Absolutely shanked it, mistimed it, completely messed it up, and it ended up being absolutely perfect. Lovely stuff. Handiest little shank ever. And there's Fergie, Saints scrum coach. He wants a water bottle to carry on, so he's allowed on, but he ain't got one. But he's got something to tell someone, either that or he thinks he can still do a job, and he's putting his hat in the ring. If you're going to go on, you've got to carry a bottle of something. Even if it's empty, carry a bottle. Mind you, there's about 400 bottles on there already. Saints played some lovely stuff, predictably. They came to play. They got some serious operators. That was a cracking tackle from Tyrone Green, wasn't it? What an absolute beauty. Just love that guy. I think he should be the next England captain. And this was Alex Dombrandt. Now, it looks really easy, but watch Lewis Ludlam on the left-hand flank, on the open side flank. He's really got to buy into that. You could argue he gets held in at the last second, but he was never getting to Dombrandt then. And this is a try that sealed the victory, ultimately. A hat-trick for Alex Dombrandt. A really important try for Harlequins. And the reason that Dombrandt try interests me a bit is because Bigger almost gets in. He wants Ludlam to make the tackle, but it's like Ludlam has to commit to that scrum because the only chance Northampton have got of getting, or the best chance they've got of getting up the field is winning a penalty in that scrum by going all in, kick the ball, line out, win the line out. They've really got to buy into that scrum. So there, Ludlam and Bigger have really got to communicate, and Ludlam say, look, I might not have Dombrandt if he breaks off. But there's a little bit of miscommunication. We saw it with Tom Ellis and Danny Cipriani for Bath against Exeter Chiefs. This is all a bit niche, but hopefully you find it interesting. I do, my dad does. That's enough for me. On the socials, Stuart Farmer, who basically knows everything about ruggers, said there's only been 16 games in Premiership Rugby history to see 50 first half points, and 3 of those have been in 2021. Lots of points, lots of tries. And Tim Stickland said, cracking game, Quins fan obviously, great result, and that was Quins without Marcus Smith. Yeah, it was, but Will Edwards is so good. Every time he plays, he's so good. You don't need Marcus Smith. I mean, you do, because he's even better. But Will Edwards has been fantastic. Thought he was really, really good. Really good at Twickenham. Right, couple of things. Tickets to the Premiership final are readily available. Get online, book some. It'd be a great day out. Quins have changed the way finals are played forever, we hope. They used to say defences win championships, attacks win championships, or they have for the last year or so. At least the last one was won by the attack, wasn't it? And Newcastle, of course, were meant to play against Sale Sharks, but that game was cancelled for obvious reasons. Hopefully that's the first and last of this Gallagher Premiership season, fingers crossed. And also I've been told by our producer that we have a video to show you, which they call them bloopers, but what they really mean is they're my mistakes. So I've tried to have these kept out. I've told the producer that it's just me warming up, but they've shoehorned them in. It was snowy and it was cold. Did you miss the Gallagher Premiership games? Did you miss any Gallagher Premiership Too noisy yet. Inquisitive. He's equally talented. They're all brilliant, really talented, excellent singers and dancers and entertainers. One of the other ones was there at Brentford. Punchy socials after this game, really punchy, primarily from Carl Ferns, which as a neutral, I quite enjoy. I'll level with you. Much. That'd be nicely, Chief. Thank you very much. That's a pomegranate blush. It's all I drink when I'm working. So instead I'm enjoying a nice drink. This is a Christmas martini, and it's actually got some white chocolate shaved over the top of it, so why not? Seeing what Sarries are about, and basically if they keep it up, everyone else is knackered. Don't forget to head over to the Gallagher Premiership. What else is knackered? Sorry, shall I go again? Wings need to go looking a bit more. You tell them. Are you ready? I'm ready, so I'm going to start. A taster, a clickbait version of the real full-size show to make you want to get over and actually click on the full show and watch the whole show. It's a taster. That was spicy enough, I thought, but do you think it was spicy enough? But now I'm going to get next door and get stuck in, you know, when in Rome or Bath. Yeah, riveting content, I'm sure you might agree. Now last week I made a small comment, a passing comment about Nemani Nadolo having a lovely day out doing some falconry, and it seems that some of you had some things to say about that. Ben Taylor asked, should we all chip in and get Flats a day of falconry? Yes, because I want a leather arm guard, and I want like Big Dave or Flats, like I want it personalised. I want the little brass buckles and the leather straps. That's what I'm really after. I think they look great. I think it would feel great on me, and I think I'd wear it more often. I think I'd wear it, you know, more often than just on the days when I'm doing my falconry or owling, because according to W, he doesn't want to get too technical here, but he believes that's an owl. You might be right, Tim. Don't think we're going to get on though. Izzy River, nothing to do with falconry, more to do with rugby. Who cares about the Radwan try? The commentary was silky smooth. Imagine declaring danger, danger only for Radwan not to score. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's not worth imagining, it's unimaginable. That is all we've got time for this week. It's all we've got time for this year. I'm not doing any more of these shows this year. I refuse, it's party time for me, but I'm gonna come back next year also being next week for more of the same. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the reminder bell up above there somewhere, hit all of that, and head over to Premiership Rugby's website for all your highlights packages, your full game replays. Until next week, until next year, ta-ra.